Hi there, this is Heather Home, artist and graphic designer out of Peterborough, Ontario. And this is my second video of the night. I just did one on canvas bags from Redbubble. I'm doing these videos somewhat as like a video journal for myself to kind of give me something to look back on as I continue my arts and graphics design hobby in my third act. And oh, excuse me. And then also to share, those in the arts and graphic design community may be interested in sharing a little bit about their journey, getting ideas from each other, some information too, because I'll be talking about print on demand and what that can be like to upload your artwork and graphic designs for others to purchase through print on demand. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So as I said, I just did one video on canvas bags from Redbubble, and this video will be on journals. One from Redbubble and then one that I created myself actually using an old hardcover address book. And then I also want to talk about Redbubble income too. Let's actually start with that. For those for those artists who are very much interested in thinking, well, how can I share my art more? I know with the pandemic in particular, a lot of people were moving more online. Art shows had to suddenly stop last year, back again this year, thankfully. But times, have moved online anyways. Everything's online now. So if you're an artist and it's great that you can sell, if you can sell in person, if somebody wants your actual artwork, from a show or something like that, then that's great. But if you want to do your own website or print on demand so that people can find you at a greater distance, then some of these things can really be helpful. These videos from different artists, they can give you some ideas about what they've experienced, and then that gives you something to think about if you're trying to get into it yourself. So income from print on demand, I know it sounds very exciting. A lot of those YouTube videos, they're awesome. And I've been so grateful for some of the information. Like I say, the community shares. So some of the information that's been shared has been super, super helpful. And I'm so grateful to those who have shared that information. But some of them, of course, they're talking about how much money they make, and it's, hundreds or even thousands of dollars from their artwork. And that's all wonderful for them. Just so that if you're just starting out, it's not likely to be you, at least not right away. It takes so much effort to get everything, first of all, set up, and then get your artwork, scanned properly at a good DPI. I learned, of course, to go in and change my DPI settings and scanning. I had to go back and fix some of the earlier ones. I thought I was uploading at about 300 DPI. And when I went back into properties and I looked more closely, they were only, what was it, like 76 DPI or 79 DPI or something like that. And I thought, oh no, now I have to go back and change all of these. So you want to make sure that you're doing it right from the beginning, just to kind of save yourself the hassle. And it can be super exciting in the beginning. So you want to just get in there and get everything uploaded. And then it turns out, oh, actually, there was a lot more to this than I thought. And it's better just to do it the first time around the right way. But don't get too hard on yourself if you do have to go back and fix some things, because that's part of the process too. And it can be really fun. And like I say, I'm just treating this as kind of a hobby. If it can pay for itself, then awesome. Not everybody can say that about their hobbies. For most people, they actually pay out for their hobbies and never see a return on it other than the joy of what they are doing, which is wonderful. I myself, you can see my art supplies are there on the table. I might get to some of that tonight. I love to paint, draw, and so on, but I really like for people to see it too. And that's something else about Redbubble, is that it's a community of artists and graphic designers, and you can go through and see what other people are doing and share that way as well. They can see what you're doing, you can see what they're doing, and it's pretty cool to go through and see. But as far as income goes, I'm finding it's pretty much just paying for itself. Now I pay for the Canva Pro to help me with my designs, make sure that even if I'm doing, say like a fine art piece, I want to make sure that the dimensions are correct, that actually fits everything, all of the different products on Redbubble or wherever you're loading them, whatever platform you're using for your print on demand. So I use Canva Pro. I started off with the free version and it was really great. But the more I got into it, I thought, oh, in Canada, it's like, I think it's 16 bucks a month or something like that. And I thought, well, for a hobby, 16 bucks a month is nothing. So that's pretty awesome. And then I'm like I say, I'm getting that back for the most part. Hopefully down the road, the more people see what I'm making, then maybe I'll make some more. That would be awesome. If I could get to the point where it's like paying for all of my entertainment and clothing and things, that would rock. We'll see what happens in the future, but for the most part, I just want to be happy and create what I'm creating and share it. And if other people like it, then that's awesome. One of the really great things that I love about Redbubble is that when you do make a sale, they send you this really awesome email. And they talk about, the location, not necessarily, they don't give anybody's name, of course, or their address or anything like that, but they'll say things like, oh, this person in Montreal, Canada really liked what you had to offer. Out of millions of other, designs, they picked yours, and it just boosts your spirit. It feels really great. Kudos to Redbubble for coming up with that kind of strategy for letting their excuse me, letting their artists and designers know about their sales. It really buoys you and wants you to keep going. Yeah, so I think that's what I want to say about the income. Don't, just because you're not going to be making, hundreds of thousands of dollars straight off the bat, don't let that hold you back. Just get started. Even if you don't know all the ins and outs, just get started. That's what I did. And like I say, even though I had to go back and fix some things, I don't really regret it because it was fun. It's fun to learn how to do these things. And like I say, thanks so much to the YouTube community for sharing information to help us make our way through this big world of print on demand. So now I want to talk next about two different kinds of journals. This first part is a Redbubble journal. It's an update. I did do another video on the Redbubble journal. I have to say I am now disappointed wholly about this hardcover Redbubble journal. Phooey, because like I say, when you're an artist or a designer and you're putting your stuff up there, you want to make sure that the quality is good. And I have to say, I'm not very happy with my hardcover Redbubble journal. So just so that you can see, this is my design that I had printed. It's actually a photograph of tree bark. I would say, I think I said in my last video about this, it prints almost like watercolor. It looks more like a watercolor painting than a photograph, I think, personally. I don't necessarily mind that. I think it's kind of cool. But I'm not sure if you were doing, say, like a photograph of a portrait, that might look different with skin tones. Perhaps if you're doing something with high definition lines, say like a logo or something like that, then perhaps it might be a little bit more crisp. But this, like I say, I think it looks maybe more, you can see on the back. So here's a little knot, and it looks really more like watercolor, I think. A watercolor painting. But anyways, the big thing that I'm really disappointed in, the pages fall out super, super fast. Now, admittedly, as time has gone on, I've been a little, you can see, I am a little hard on this journal. I've packed a lot in there. But mostly it's big like this because I've had to tape in the pages. I've got my little washi tape there. Yeah, tape it in because the pages just fall out. I was so disappointed. Now, I think if you're disappointed with what you get, you have a certain amount of time to get back in touch with them and they can make it right. They do say that they want to make it right. However, this was a journal. So all of my stuff was already in it. Everything that I'd written, drawn, was already in there. So what? Like, am I returning this? No. Um, so that was a little disappointing. Oh, phooey. Now I have watched some reviews that where people are really happy with the soft cover notebooks. So I would be curious to maybe get one of those someday. Apparently they have a pocket in one of the, I think it's in the back, where you can slip things into. They seem to be really happy, and it's a larger size too. This was a slightly smaller size. You can see here's my, oops, there's a hand. Size of my hand and the size of my journal. See, I've got a hair, sorry about that. So you can see that this is kind of, it's a slightly smaller size than I'm used to when I get at the store. But again, not a big deal. Overall, I was very excited when I first got it. Now, not quite so much. My second journal that I'm going to be talking about, I did a post, what do they call it? An idea pin on Pinterest. I'm learning about Pinterest too. So that was a multi-page, how I did this kind of pin. I took an old, let's see if I get this the right way. There we go. An address book. And not a lot of people use these days. I myself don't have a cell phone, but most people, of course, are using smartphones, and everybody's information, and they keep right in there. I still have a landline, so I do have address books, but I did not want to use this. I mean, how often do you need to replace an address book? This one, oh, I was so grateful when one of my artist friends passed away. She had always been such a lovely person, and when she passed away at her, what do they call it? Not a funeral, but the wake, I guess you call it. It was like a celebration of life. They had out some of her sketches and paintings and things that the family, like, you know, when you're an artist, there's just so much. So the family kept some of it, of course, but they wanted to share with the community so everybody could take something home, you know, from our dear friend who had passed. So I thought that was really kind, generous, and lovely. And I feel so grateful to have little pieces of my friend Mary to keep forever. So I think I got like a sketch and maybe a watercolor painting and this address book that had not been used. And I love this book because it's got a beautiful texture. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's like fabric and not really highly textured, but just like a really, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, I love it. It's a really nice texture. I love green. And it is, what does it say? An address book for naturalists done by a natural heritage group. And let's see if I open it at the beginning. Let's see. Yeah. So just an address book. So what I did was I turned it into a journal, an art journal. So I've taken, you know, die cut papers and glued them in the front, and my little wording. What did I do inside the inside cover? My A to Z journal. And because it is an address book, it's got pages with lines. And then they actually are, I think that's adorable. They, because it's a naturalist book, they have little printings in there about the naturalists' beliefs. So things about the beauty of nature and so on. And so I've done cutouts. I think of course, because it's an address book, there are going to be pages that are lettered for all the names of everybody with, you know, A, B, C, and so on. So I'm using those as my A prompt. So on my B pages, and there's multiple pages per letter, I'm doing things that are starting with B. Yeah, so that was kind of a fun thing, and then I'll just use it as I go page by page. This one has lots of different types of lined pages, and I just thought it was super fun, and I wanted to actually use it in a way that makes my heart sing. And I think my friend Mary would be pleased that I am getting so much joy out of it, and I really and truly am. So you can have a lot of fun finding different ways to make your art journals, or any type of journal as you like. It doesn't have to be one that is, bought from a print-on-demand company or bought at the dollar store or the stationery store. You can find older types of books and turn them into journals. Or even make, like, I think junk journaling is a thing now too, so you can make them that way, which can be really fun. I've done those too. So I've shared about those. What else did I want to share about? I think maybe that's it for tonight. I'll do more videos when I feel like it. I upload rarely and sporadically. So I guess that's it. If you are interested in more videos, I guess I'm supposed to say like and subscribe. That helps you get my videos when they come out. They will not be out frequently, just once in a while. But if you're part of the artist community, I hope that some of these details are a little bit helpful for you, just to give you things to think about as you're having your journey. Some fun things, some inspirations, and then also some information about the print-on-demand journey. Excuse me. Hopefully you can avoid some of the mistakes that I've made, and then just have fun doing your thing. That's really what I want to do. Like I say, if it can pay for itself, awesome. But even just the process of learning and allowing people at a greater distance to share, you have a wider audience the more you put your stuff online. I will say though that I did an art show back this summer. We, of course, with the pandemic, it was canceled last year, but they were back this year. And both my bestie and I, we both did really well at this art show. Not as many things sold, but they sold for much higher prices. And I think people were just paying so much money for artwork this year, which was so surprising to me. So we both did well. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I am still trying locally as well, but online seems to be more the thing. My dream is to get a scanner that's huge, so so that I can, with a scanning bed that's huge, so that I can do some of my larger pieces. I find that when I'm using papers and canvas sheets and stuff, I'm having to cut them down just to fit on the scanning bed. Mine's just a standard, what is it, 8.5 by 11, slightly bigger than that, I think, but not even big enough to do a 9 by 12. How are the rest of you doing that? I don't know. I had one piece I took to a local business where they scan, what are they, like blueprints? So they have like huge scanning beds. And then I think they also take photography of odd shaped pieces. So I did that once, but that was very expensive to do. So not something I'm going to be doing regularly. That's something I think I should be looking into, is to learn how to get your larger pieces photographed or scanned, or something that's easily done. Okay, that's it. Wishing everybody a happy 2022 ahead. We are finishing up 2021 today, or not today, this month, I should say. Best to you all, and see you in the next video.